So guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about this picture I posted earlier, as to why it's lined into track A, B, or C. I think most of you all got it correctly. Disregard the bottom part of this picture, but yeah, it's lined in track C. But why is it lined into track C? I feel like when I was training guys, I would explain to them and show them how railcar wheels are actually built and made, and how if you can understand why you have these gaps in the switches and why the train will follow the gap, it will help you understand in the long run, and it'll help you understand a lot quicker why you need to follow the gaps. So here's a perfect example of this. This is just a video showing you that the actual flange is on the inside of the wheel. So when I say the switch has to follow the gap, it has to give a place for that flange to go. The flange is the inside part of this wheel right here, as you can see on this video. That's the flange. So whenever you throw an actual switch, you're throwing the switch to open in the gap, you're giving a place for that flange on that rail car to go. All rail cars are the same, engines are the same way. There's always a flange on the inside. That's how the rail car actually stays on the track. A lot of times you go on engines, you'll bounce left and right, and this flange is what keeps you on the track, believe it or not. It's crazy to think about because a flange, I actually don't know the exact size. I have a combined wheel gauge in my truck, but it's only, an inch and a half or 2 inches. I don't even think it's 2 inches. Maybe an inch and a half. It might be 2 inches. But yeah, anyways, it's not a very big flange. But that's actually what keeps you on the track in gravity. And whenever you go around a turn, though, there's an embankment. But if you understand that concept as to the flange on the wheels, and see, they just showed it right there. If you look, this flange towards the inner side of the wheel, there it is right there. So if you look, go back just a little bit, right there. So here's the gap that I keep referring to. Here is the gap on the actual picture right here, and then right here. So if you just look down a whole thing of tracks, if you just follow the gap, to follow the gap, you'll start to understand what's going on. So as you can look right here, this gap we're going to be riding through, this is where that flange is going to go. So that track's good, we're going to go straight. Next switch, look, gap's over here. That means that flange is going to ride on this inside of this rail, and this flange right here is going to go through this gap. Alright, next track, this switch is actually thrown, the gap's going left. What does that mean? We're going left. Wherever that gap goes is where you're going. Wiley FTW, I think that's how you pronounce it. Forgive me if I did pronounce it wrong. But they make a very good point. Where the water flows, the train will go. And that's a great way to look at that. Wherever the water will flow, the train will go. So it's basically like follow the gap. So I know it sounds so crazy, but if you understand that concept, that flange has to go into that gap. You'll understand it a lot more. Whenever you're leaving your yards or pulling into your receiving yard or leaving your outbound yard, you're going to have a ladder switch most of the time. And this is basically what it is. It's a straight track with a bunch of tracks going off of it. It could be going to right or to left. It can go either way. But this one's the same thing here. Look, follow the gap. If we follow the gap, where are we going? We're going into the second track. There's 3 switches you need to look at. This one, here's the gap. Second track, the gap's on the right hand side. We're obviously going into track 2. And look, there's another switch here that's actually going to track 2 and 3. And that gap is on our closest to us. That means we're going following that gap. We're going into track 2 where this engine is sitting. Other than that, I hope you guys learned something. If you don't understand, don't be afraid to drop a comment down below. I promise it. There's judgment-free zone here. Not everybody learns the same. We all understand that. And trust me, we're all just here just to help you succeed, because you are the next conductors. All you conductors out there working now, I encourage you to train them correctly, because one day you're going to be an engineer, and the guys that you're training or the girls that you're training are going to be your conductors. So just food for thought there. Y'all take it easy. I'll see you guys on the next one.